Hello everyone, hope you are doing alright, and welcome back to the 17th part of this project. And today, as we discussed, we are gonna focus more on the clothing. But first, I wanted to talk about anatomy again. If you wanted to sculpt more of the body, from now you have two choices, mostly. One would be to directly sculpt the muscles on the arm, for example, as I'm doing right here. Okay. That will need you to have a really good understanding of every muscle position. But then you could also take another path, consider the arm as we consider the entire head or the entire body, meaning that you can also decompose it into several parts. Okay? If you take, let's say, another sphere, and then you use it and you sculpt it as if it was one muscle on the arm. Once this is done, you can merge all together, do a remesh, and then keep on sculpting a bit. Okay. But now that it's done, I'm not gonna do that. We can keep the body as it is. I'm just gonna merge all together, do a remesh, and then sculpt just a bit some shapes. Okay. Again, it's not about anatomy, so I'm not sure they are like 100% correct, but that will allow us to start working on the clothes. Okay. So to do that first, I'm gonna use a face set and then just paint on my body the shape of his t-shirt, okay? And because it's a very thin cloth, of course that's why we use the body as a base, because it's gonna supposed to follow it. So now that this is done, I'm just gonna relax the face set to have the end of it being smooth, and then I'm just gonna use this option, extract face set, okay, to get another object. You can see it's colliding with the body, but I can't just scale it like that, okay? What I can do is use the modifier which is attached to the newly created object. This is kinda like the same option as if we were using the modifier solidify, okay? And what we have here is an example of what could happen if we don't pay attention to our model. If we try to do a remesh on a model which is not closed, Blender will have a hard time figuring out what it is supposed to look like, and you will end up with a model like that. That's just an example of what not to do. Okay, so make sure that if you use either this modifier or the solidify modifier, you make sure the options are checked so that it is not open but closed. As you can see here, I checked rim only, and so I only have the rim, but the interior of my object is not closed. So now if I do a remesh, you can see it's working. Here I have the hole for my neck, which is not working correctly, but you know how to do that now. I'm just gonna use a mask and then move it open, okay, so that it fits the size of the neck of my character. And the next step, because this is a cloth, we can just cut a few folds on the model directly and make sure we don't see the body through like that, through the cloth, of course. And you could at one point also deactivate the mirror options to make sure the folds are not similar on one side and on the other. Here I'm just showing you something. It doesn't really work with this model because it's not like a cloth which is very thin. It's a bit thicker than something like silk, but you could mask one part and use the cloth filter to have this. I forgot to inverse the mask, to have the sleeves behave like as if they were clothes. Okay, but you can see, don't overdo it, because otherwise it will just go through the mesh of the character. I'm just doing it on the other side. Okay, and now here we go. We've got some kind of very thick t-shirt. Next, I'm gonna do the same for the pants. So I'm just gonna select a face set, but whenever I try to smooth it with the first one that was selected, they collide with each other, so I'm just gonna erase the top part. Okay, like that. And now I can do the same thing, extract face set, and we've got trousers. I'm gonna sculpt a few folds again, just a few, not too much, and I realize I can use from this scene the same materials I've used before for the character itself. So here they are, and now I'm just also gonna fix his head, which was not really great previously. It's not gonna be great as well, but it's still better and it's gonna be correct, especially in the jaw area. Okay? And again, as piece of cloth he needed was shoes or slippers, not sure. I followed the exact same process as I did before, but this is hollow, so I had a hard time sculpting the whole of it. But what we should not forget is that we are not constrained to using only the sculpt mode. We can do just like that, add a cylinder, cut a hole into it, merge it with the shoes, and then we've got the top of the shoes just like that. Okay, I've tried a few other things to have like a flat sole, but then just didn't work as well because everything was merged together, the inside and the outside, and of course when you do a remesh, Blender doesn't understand what it's supposed to do. So I ended up with a hole like that, and I just did exactly what I did before. I recreated the bottom of the shoes and then merged all together to have something just as I wanted. Okay? And because I didn't want to spend time doing all the rest, I just did something that looks like scratches on my shoes. And then I just erased the other side and applied another mirror modifier. So our character is almost ready. We got everything almost set here. Okay? And the last thing that we need to do, of course, is to add fingers. So from this, I'm starting not with a sphere, but you could start with a sphere. I'm starting with the cube, so that I can use then something that we've seen previously. If you hold the control on your keyboard and you right click, after having selected a face, it will just extrude the face in the direction of where your mouse is. Okay, just like that. And then just like that, you've got one finger. The other fingers are just a copy of it that I scale to have the correct size, and then I rotate them. Okay? And then we just need to sculpt the hands that it fits exactly how it's supposed to fit on fingers. Then I did a remesh that you can see here, that all the fingers are merging together as one object. This is because the scale of the remesh is too big to take into account the gap between the fingers. So to have it something correct, what you need to do is to select a setting which is much lower, like smaller than the gap between the fingers, so that Blender doesn't close them. Okay? And then you just sculpt them so that they look nicer until you've got a hand. Now we've got a body, a head, clothes, hands. I think our character is not the best, but it's done. Remember, to have a complete character done, you would need hours, maybe days, or maybe at the beginning, for me, I would say a couple of weeks to have all the details ready done, so I can't do that right now. I'm gonna try to use a simplified approach for the next characters I want to do, which are the zombies from my scene inspired by The Walking Dead. I will try to work on that next, and otherwise I think it will be time, just a bit of time after that, to move to the animation. Okay, so I hope you liked it. It was maybe a shorter video than usual, but all that I've shown is just about the process, but you know how to do all of this. I'm sure you do, as usual. So enjoy your week, have a great time everyone, work well, enjoy creating, and I'll see you next time. Bye!